All right. So, today is Monday and not Sunday, and I'm usually supposed to upload these videos on Sunday, but here I am on Monday again recording and hopefully uploading a video about my previous week already. So, what happened in the previous week? Well, it was a pretty good week actually overall. I had the highlight of the week was the event on Thursday. So I spoke on stage at an event on Thursday, and it was an event called Give It All, and it was a marvelous experience. Honestly, it's like before we went speaking on stage, I basically spoke about my like my expertise. I spoke about like the things that I do that I'm good at, blah blah blah, with the PowerPoint in the back and all this good stuff, which was actually quite good, of course. But it was also like, I mean, not my whole kind of like self. So, and this time, I actually spoke about a very personal story. I shared a very personal story, and kind of like, yeah, had a whole talk about the idea of to feel or not to feel, and how men usually oppress their feelings, and how I've gone onto the path of like feeling my feelings, maybe got too much on my feelings, and then getting back. Talking about my trauma, my journey, with psychedelics, and traveling and like all this stuff. It was a very deep and personal story that, whew, wow, it actually felt so good to share after I shared it. Like, I did it. But yeah, before that, I was quite like, and that's actually how the expansion came. So I'm very happy about that. And yeah, life is good. Life is good. Life is good. And I really liked it. It was a wonderful experience. And after that, people came and congratulated me. Said they resonated with parts of the story, which was kind of like the intention. The intention was not for me to flex. The intention was, to lighten up some things in some people. Yeah, so I'm happy, I got to share that, even though like it wasn't perfect how I set it up. It actually came out like I perfectly said it. And yeah, very happy with that. Super duper extra happy. And yeah, I mean, that's kind of like the big highlight of my week. On Saturday, I also like, yeah, I went to like 5 events basically on Saturday. I went into the morning to the Brotherhood, where like I celebrated myself. It was like a big celebration. Um, it was a very big celebration. Like I went there instead of like, hey, complaining, or I mean, like, instead of like sharing like the struggles, I was like, bro, you know what? Like, looking back, like I did that shit, and this Thursday thing was a great catalyst for that, because I feel really good after that, and I kind of like, like felt empowered by all of the steps that I've been taking since my birthday, since I turned 30, and since like that was kind of like the failure checkpoint of my life up until now, which is basically like a month later. And all of the progress that I've done towards like reaching my goals. And even though like I'm not exactly where I want to be, I'm definitely on the right path though. So being on the right path is a thing to celebrate in, and taking the the right actions, in order to get me more aligned, in order, to get me closer to my goals. And yeah, the structuring, basically, it's been a lot of structuring and a lot of clearing and a lot of things into that was really good. From doing the coaching, to joining the mastermind. I joined Jamie Master's Mind last week. Was actually like the first week, the first call on Wednesday. It was like a pre-call, before the actual mastermind started, in order to help us to create some monthly recurring revenue. So yeah, I actually, I thought about that offer. I made that offer. I sent it to some people. I'm talking to some people about it. I'm organizing another event about it on for Wednesday. So that was another thing, to like, and that I feel really good about, and that I congratulate myself. And yeah, about a couple of other things. So yeah, I started my day with celebration. Come on. It's celebration. It's a celebration. Yeah, so that was those were that's the song of the day, the celebration. Those were the vibes. After that, I went to a content creator thing, which was, again, I mean, it was good. I went there, got there late, listened to some stuff, talked to some people, left out of there early to go to another meeting. I got lunch with a friend. That like, yeah, we got into some deep heart to heart talks. That was really good. I felt quite aligned, quite heard, quite seen. After that, I went to another event with like a bunch of other entrepreneurs and content creators that I met, and that was pretty cool. From that, I went to massage. I got a massage, and after that, I went to like a seat swap social that I wasn't necessarily planning on going to, but I looked and I'm like, hey, what is there happening right now? Oh, this happening right now. Okay, let me go. So I went there. I came in late. I rocked the boat, and then I left there early. Again, I felt like such a G. That was such a good event. Um, I I literally like I got there and I was like, oh yeah, so where are you from? What do you do? I'm like, fuck no, I'm not playing this right now. I'm gonna make my own rules. So I started making jokes with everybody, always like dodging these like, simple questions. When I got to a new table, it was like, hey, so this is what we're gonna do. I set up some rules. They're like, some rules. I set up like, hey, let's ask like what's the coolest thing you did this week, and then that turned into some better sharing. And yeah, I basically met with everyone, blah 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 blah, and then ciao bello, I went to the rave. I went to like a drum and bass festival at Luna Beach Club at Nuano that my friend Misha is working to. He said he was gonna get me and blah blah blah. So I get there, and then by the time I get there, yeah, we figured it out, Long story short, like we basically figured it out. I entered, I thought it was actually a good party. Like it was a good party, the rave that I've needed for in a long time. So yeah, it was a very active Saturday, and like I felt really good. So yeah, super duper happy about that. Super duper happy about that. Um, yeah, despite the week starting with a little bit of like some ups and downs, with Annabelle, she's going to do this pet sitting. She's been gone to Ubud for a couple of days. It's like slightly weird without her, but still, a lot of kind of like turmoils, emotions, things that are going up. Yesterday, I mean, this Sunday, I went to Ubud like right after this whole Saturday that was really good. I went to Ubud to see her, um, and yeah, I saw her, and we went to basically this kind of like rewriting love or relearn love, a workshop, which is like it was a super cool workshop by Eddie, uh this lovely woman and relationship coach that I met. And yeah, there were some cool things in there. They're like, hey, we actually like we never learned how to love. Like we learned from our parents, from our the people in our field that were there when we were young, maybe our grandparents, maybe our neighbors, maybe like whatever other relatives, or yeah, other people in our field. But for me and for a lot of other people, that's like the what not to do case. So from that, what to do is basically like, taking it all the way back to like, I mean, flipping it on its head. At least like that's more or less kind of like that's for me, and that's what we think love is. And then we have a lot of kind of like, limiting beliefs since we're young about love, but we never actually learned how to love, and how, to like be in a relationship, because yeah, that's not just what they teach you, along with financial literacy and all these other things that you think that, oh, you should just know. They don't teach us that. So this was actually a really good opportunity to learn some tricks, and to learn even, yeah, this foundation that like, hey, there are some tools that we can use in order to make our lives and our relationships better. uh, and yeah, by making our relationships better, we make our lives better by extension, because happy wife, happy life, right? Something like that. Yeah, and after that, I don't know, I had a talk with Annabelle. I mean, yeah, we went on a dog. She's basically going pet sitting there. That's why she's in the wood. Yeah, so we went on a walk with the dog, and she's telling me that she wants to go to Europe for the summer, which I mean, I feel that it's a great idea. I feel that in my, like both my heart and my mind are telling me like, hey, go, like, yeah, that's a great idea. But still, it like hurts a little bit, like then, I don't know, I kind of was a little bit sad about it and stuff like this. So, the week didn't kind of really end on a good note. But overall, I think it was a pretty good week. I have made some great progress. I stopped kind of like working in the morning. I started kind of like being more myself and doing my thing in the morning, and then I have much more energy for the afternoon. I also, yeah, restructured. I mean, yeah, the whole thing that I got, the whole document that I got from Roman, And yeah, I put the GPT prompt in my journal in order to, yeah, for GPT to more understand me, and in order for me to speak more closely with GPT for, yeah, support and mirroring and reflection and coaching in that sense. So that was really good, and I really like that part. It's been very helpful to, yeah, instead of journaling on paper, which I never really read, to speak it to the GPT. So really good about that. Really happy about that. Yeah, overall, I mean, it's been quite a good week. I decided that I'm going that the deadline for me to start making content is July 1st. So let's see. Like, I'm gonna pull myself together and start making content July 1st. That's a deadline that I kind of like set for myself. So this week is about getting that set up, uh, because it's important. So this has been my week. Overall, pretty good, but yeah, not. There's still like some other things, but overall pretty good. I'm quite happy, and I'll see you next week. Cheers.